In this tutorial, I use special effects makeup which contains imagery some may see as graphic to simulate blood and clusters of holes, some of this being on my wrist. If you're not into that ish, this video isn't for you. What's up, Hans fam, and welcome to another lovely day of Hansoween. For those of you that stayed for the tutorial, I commend you. Hansoween is 31 tutorials in the month of October, which means a new tutorial every day. Subscribe to never miss a beat. I've wanted to mess with holes in the skin for a while, and last year after Made You Look put up an amazing tutorial showing her method of doing so, I knew I had to give it a whirl with my own version. I personally love mixing sexy things with things that are usually not so appealing. So out was born this maggot-infested nurse love child. Let's get to it. Starting with the beer, duh, cause shit's about to get really here. Double delish. I have bald cap already applied, and I'm cleaning my skin with a bit of alcohol to prep it for Pros-Aide in the areas we will be adding wax. Put down a layer of Pros-Aide or any adhesive you choose on the areas that you just wiped off. Grab out a small amount of wax, depending on the size of the area you want to create, and work the wax a bit to kind of warm it up. Dip your fingers into a bit of Vaseline when working with wax because it is very sticky and this will help it slide right off. Slide right off. Push the ball of wax onto your face and just start to spread it out onto your skin. We are creating a large cluster of these holes, so we essentially want to make a large bump that blends in seamlessly. I dipped a brush into my Vaseline to get the edges slippery, and then use the bottom portion, aka just the tip, to create the whole effects into the wax. I twist the brush so that it slides out of the wax easier. If you just press it in and pull out, God, this tutorial sounds so fucked up. The wax may stick to the handle and you won't get a precise hole. Dear Jesus. If the wax does pull out a little, just smooth it over with your finger. I even opted for a larger brush so that I could fit it into the larger holes that I decided to put by the mouth. Try to make the holes cascade nicely into your natural skin texture. Now that that's all over, use a stippling sponge to add a bit of texture to the wax and cover it in a cream-based foundation. I went with a very light pale skin tone since I am an undead nurse lady, so I want her to look real sickly. Anywhere that your skin is going to show through your costume, I would suggest pulling that downwards as well. With some alcohol-based paints, I add a bit of red into the holes and a little lighter mauve color into the holes that don't go as deep. Since they're not as deep, the color wouldn't be as intense, so you really want to intensify the holes in the middle portions of the bumps since they do go really deep into our skin. For a warmer tone zombie, I used a blush to contour the hollows of my face. Drag your contour down along your mouth for an exaggerated sunken-in shape. Darken around your collarbones and sporadically apply the color on your neck and face for a very distressed look. We're super distressed, guys. Using that same blush, I add the color all over my lids, pulling it into my brow and out towards the outer corner. Red under the eyes will really give them a dead look, and since we are doing this on top of cream foundation, it blends very easy by just using tapping motions. I am creating a bit of a deeper smoky eye with more of the blush added on top and around my lower lash line. Add a bit of black eyeshadow on top and the outer corners to finish off the eyes. This sponge method is the shit, thank you Ellie Max, where you just take a wedge sponge and rip little pieces out of it to create a vein effect when it's applied to the skin. You can see as I dip it into the product, boom, you got you some good old veins. Now dipping back into the alcohol palette with yellow, I just add a bit around the face to start some bruising. Add red and you can even tap the color a bit if it's too intense. You can see it gives the perfect under the skin vein look. Continue down your chest, keeping it heavier around the whole wounds, and if wearing a costume, continue down your arms or any skin that shows. I almost wanted these holes to kind of look like an infection. They just spread into my skin. I love the idea of mixing something that's gross with something that's like sexy, so you're like, ooh, I like that, but this is also nasty. So I wanted to pair it with a really dark, sexy lip, and to make it even more alluring, I feathered out the edges a little bit while the lipstick was still tacky with a blending brush. Lastly, this part in the tutorial almost put me over the edge. I thought this was a little gross. Add a bit of adhesive to some of the holes, and we'll be using some good old rice for these maggots. It's nice because you can just press the rice right into the wax if you want instead, and add as many or as few to freak out others and possibly yourself. It's so cool because the rice really does. It looks like little creepy maggots just popping out of these holes. Ugh. Popped in these blood splat contacts from Camo Eyes, and just put on my zombie nurse costume. This is from Wholesale Halloween Costumes. And that's it. Now you're a mix of disgusting, yet also possibly sexy. Who knows? Thank you so much, you guys, for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope this wasn't too intense for any of you, but I've really wanted to play with this technique for a while. Use the hashtag Hansween if you recreate this look, and I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Alright, you guys ready for this? I know it was an intense tutorial for some of you. It was an intense tutorial for me too. This shit was crazy. So let's see here. Boom. Holes, fuck off. No one likes you.